Good morning, everyone. It's day 2 of the third week of the Synod, and we've just started module 4 this morning, which is on places. And we'll be discussing this module right throughout this week. Now, to aid our discussions, we usually have a facilitator at each table. And today I'd like to introduce you to one of these facilitators, Dr. Andrew Spiteri from Malta. Andrew, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I know you've got a wonderful background that I want to hear a lot of. So can you tell me a little bit about where you live and the work that you do and how you came to be facilitator at the Synod?
Good, thank you. Those are many questions.
Yes.
So I live in a community
Yes.
just near Florence.
Okay.
It's called Lopiano.
Yes.
And it's part, it lives there, we live the spirituality of the Focolare movement.
Yes.
Which has as its core working and striving towards unity.
Yes.
So for me, being at the Synod is very in synchrony with what I live as a spirituality,
Yes.
because it's all helping in the unity of the church. I have been doing professional facilitation over these last 10 years.
Yes.
And I really love it because it is a service you do to any group where you help in taking away all that is blocking the group to
Yes.
work together. And the ideal result of this would be the manifestation of the Spirit, which
Absolutely.
is something much more than simply adding each other.
Yes.
And I find this particularly relevant to the Synod.
To the Synod, wonderful. Now, you're a consecrated member
Yeah.
of the Focolare,
Yeah.
so that's obviously a choice you've made to live your life in a certain way.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that experience a little bit?
Okay. Yes, at the heart of the Focolare, of this big community, which
Yes.
encompasses all vocations, at the heart of this is what we call the community de Focolare, which
Yes.
means the fireplace.
Yes.
The place where people feel comfortable, especially in winter when it's cold,
Yes.
and they gather around and stay together. And that's exactly what we strive to do in our communities,
Yes.
especially with the wider community. We try to be at their service,
Yes.
but first of all, giving testimony on how to love each other reciprocally,
Yes.
starting between us in the small
Right.
community.
Okay, that's wonderful. And what has been your experience at the Synod? I know you were with us last year as well at the first assembly, and now you're facilitating the second assembly. Are there any differences you see? What has been your experience?
Well, evidently there have been differences, even because topics are a bit different. It's a
Yes.
process rather, and so we're going deeper in, and we're becoming more concrete. Last year
Yes.
was a bit wider. We had to discuss many realities. Now this year it's more specific.
Yes.
But there is a commonality, I find,
Okay.
and it's all linked to relations.
Yes.
I believe, and this is one of the nicest experience I'm taking with me,
Yes.
that when you meet with another 10 or 11 persons, at first you are strangers,
Yes.
but immediately there is the goodwill of each and every one to go and towards the other,
Yes.
to get to know the other,
Yes.
to accept them as they are,
Yes.
even if they might think differently from how we think. And this
Absolutely.
acceptance beyond who we are really is something special in the Synod.
Yes.
You feel that even if we have different maybe opinions or ideas, but there is something much bigger, which is that first of all we are brothers and sisters truly.
Yes.
And here you find a way to experience it. So that's
right.
the thing I'm taking with
Yes,
me
that's
from the
beautiful.
Synod.
Yes, and I think likewise I've heard that echoed by many other participants as well, and certainly it has been part of my experience as well. So thank you for being with us, Andrew, and thank you for sharing your experiences and a little bit about yourself. And I wish you all the very best for the rest of the facilitation that you have ahead of you.
Thank you for having me, and all the best for all those who are hearing us.
That's right, wonderful. Thank you everyone for those of you joining us. This is Trudy Dantis at the Synod on Synodality.